To the administration headed by our school management administrator, Mrs. Joyson R. Malinaw, our school principal, Mrs. Alicia M. Danao, our assistant school principal, Mrs. Maria Teresa A. Torrechante, our technical facilities and multimedia one, Mrs. Cristel E. Flor, our speakers, senior high school teachers and students, good morning and welcome to our virtual work immersion webinar and workshop 2022. To formally start our program, may I request everyone to please stand for an invocation to be led by Ms. Kimberly O'Hara, to be followed by the national anthem and Cavite hymn.
Heads and place ourselves in the presence of the Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering all of us today in this important event. May you bestow your guidance and blessings on this event so that we can enjoy and appreciate its significance in our lives. Bless everyone present today, that each may be able to share what she or he has for your glory and honor. May the various activities related to this event be success. Through your intervention, keep us physically safe and guard our hearts and minds from pride and selfishness. Keep love at the forefront of our minds today, and the guiding light always to accomplish and celebrate. We ask all of this in your name. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Ang Bayang Cavite, aking mahal, laging patnubay ng may kapal. Sa yakap mo ay langit ang buhay at laging makulay. May isang siglo nang nagdaan, bayan mong kawitan kung saan ay sinilang ang kalayaan, ang lahat ay nagdiwang. Cavite, Cavite, lagi ka sa puso ko. Cavite, Cavite, buhay ko'y handog sa'yo. Kung lakas ko'y laan ang maglingkod sa'yo'y kaigaan. Cavite, Cavite, ang lalawigan kong mahal. Mahal kita, Cavite, tangi lang sa may
Please be seated. Just a quick reminder for the grade 12 students. According to Ma'am Jo, kindly take down notes because some of the items for your work immersion long test will be taken from the seminar for today. In the Philippines, youth unemployment hampers meaningful economic development. The sector's lack of knowledge, skills, and work experience put them at a disadvantage. One way to address this is through the Department of Education's senior high school program, ushered by the K-12 education reform. One of its components, the Work Immersion program, which provides students real workplace experience, giving students a set of technical, vocational, and livelihood skills that can help them make more informed career choices and improve their employment prospects. But given our situation right now, we can't do the usual work immersion. According to Henry David Thoreau, things do not change, we change. Our theme for today is all about metamorphosis. When a metamorphosis occurs, a person develops and changes into something completely different. In an article written by Kathy Neal 2015, she mentioned the lessons learned in the transition as she has grown into a confident, competent career woman. Take note. First, it is okay to put yourself first. It doesn't mean always think of yourself above all others. That is selfish. What isn't selfish is considering your mental and physical well-being as you go about your business of making a positive impact on the lives of those around you. Second, set goals. Long-term goals are great. What's better is a series of short-term goals leading up to the long-term goal. Third, attitudes are self-fulfilling. You have to train yourself to believe in your capabilities. Fourth, life doesn't always happen according to your plans. Consider every detour a learning opportunity and move on. Fifth, you have to set limits and ask for help. You are only one person. You can only feasibly accomplish so much. Work hard to do as much as you can to the best of your ability. Refusing to set limits or ask for help will leave you feeling scattered. not performing effectively, and ultimately disappointed in yourself. Go outside of your comfort zone. Change isn't easy. It can be exhausting, stressful, and painful. Those experiences are great opportunities for learning and for your growth. Embrace the discomfort and know your view from the top will be stunning. Lastly, smile. Life can be hard, but it can always be worse. Smile. Appreciate the progress you've made and be patient while you work toward your next goal. With that, let's hear a message from our approachable and enthusiastic school principal, Mrs. Alicia M. Danao.
To the administration of the school, headed by our management administrator, Mrs. Joyce and Armalinaw, our assistant principal, Mrs. Maria Teresa A. Torchante, our HR officer, Mrs. Mary Grace Villaluna, our guest speaker, Miss Maria Concepcion Angat Malamog, our in-house speaker, Mr. Benjamin S. Biroy, Senior High School Team Leader, Mr. Jerome R. Buragay, Senior High School faculty members, Senior High School students, ladies and gentlemen, a blessed and joyful morning. It is my delight to welcome everyone to the Senior High School Work Immersion Webinar and Workshop 2022. Work immersion refers to the subject of senior high school curriculum, which involves hands-on experience or works simulation in which learners can apply their competencies and acquired knowledge relevant to their track. It is being conducted on a digital platform in line with the social distancing norms due to COVID-19 pandemic. The reason for this is the safety of everyone. This workshop with the theme Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis means a change of nature of person into a completely different one by natural means. The concept of metamorphosis is commonly used in pieces of literature to describe an extreme change in character or form. First and foremost, I would like to commend the initiative and valuable gesture of our management administrator, Mrs. Joyce Armalinaw, for providing our senior high school students a dynamic, competent, and well-rounded guest speaker in the person of Miss Maria Concepcion Angat Malamog. Before ending my talk, I would like to acknowledge the following people who exerted their efforts and involved themselves to make this activity a success. Miss Kimberly L. Aujero, who asked the guidance of the Lord God Almighty to bless this work immersion webinar and workshop 2022. To Mr. Benjamin S. Biroy, our in-house speaker, to Mrs. Crystal Ann E. Flor, and Miss Christine Ibaristo, our OIC Multimedia, who is in charge of multimedia and recording, Miss Alexandra Denise Diponday, our MC for this morning's event. Let us join our hands together that this work, Immersion Webinar and Workshop 2022 will become successful and fruitful. Thank you and good day to everyone.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Danao, for your uplifting and inspiring message. To give us the background of work immersion, let's welcome our energetic senior high school team leader, Mr. Jerome R. Baragay.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, administrators. Good morning, students. Good morning, Franciscan students. Ayan. Smile, smile po muna tayo. Ayan. So, Ma'am Pons, pa-share na lang po ako ng PowerPoint. Thank you so much. I'm just giving you the relevance of work immersion and its background. Next po, Ma'am Pons. Okay, so let us define first what is work immersion. So work immersion is one of the course requirements for the graduation. So a senior high school student has to undergo work immersion in an industry that directly relates the student's post-secondary goal. So the ATR, work immersion integrated in the K-12 curriculum, serves as the training ground for the senior high school students as they choose to head under either of the three. First, we have their college life, employment, and entrepreneur. So it aims to expose the students in the actual working environment and hone their competencies in different learning areas. Also, it helps in shaping their work ethics, values, as they are expected to act as professional in their respective host training establishments. The work immersion is similar to on-the-job training or the OJT, but it is just a shorthand one since it will only start or last for 10 days with 8 hours working time each day, excluding Saturday and Sunday. So students were assigned to different public and private institutions depending on their strand for them to have a glimpse of actual professional work environment. So they also had the opportunity to apply their learning experiences inside the academy and in return will help them gather meaningful experiences that will be a great help in the near future. So getting the first-hand experiences is not just the aim of the immersion. It also aims to develop young professionals whose work ethics and values are admirable and will serve as an epitome to future trainees like them. So this work immersion taught students, youth students, the value of what? Punctuality, good working relations with subordinates and superiors, the impact or the importance of an information confidentiality and professionalism inside the workplace. So students were actually trained to have good working relationship with their subordinates, superiors, and co-trainees. So the respect for diversity is much needed inside the workplace since not everyone will have the same beliefs and principles. So it is a must that the students will have an open mind for the differences so as to avoid conflicts and also misunderstandings with their co-trainees. So the trainees were also taught to follow the superior's order, but not at the expense of their ethics and then their principles. So the value information confidentiality is also one of the things taught to students inside the workplace since there is a sensitive information that they may encounter while working on it. So they were tasked to keep everything inside the office. So parang yung concept na what you see and what you hear, just leave it here. And lastly, students were trained to act as professionals. So when it's time to work, you need to focus on your work. No room for unnecessary chit-chat with your co-trainees and not a time for gadgets or social media. So this is a sign that you students really value their work. So more than the technical learning, teaching inside of the academy, what students essentially learn is work values and ethics. So immersion does not just nurture globally competent individuals in terms of skills and abilities, but it also produces ethical young professionals who really value their work and show unwavering warmth, passion especially, and commitment towards their work. Okay, so to sum it up, Ma'am Pons, next slide please. The goals of the work immersion first is to gain relevant and practical industrial skills under the guidance of industry experts and then workers. Next po, we have appreciate the importance and application of the principles and the thought in school or in the academe. Next, enhance their technical knowledge and skills. So next, the goals and objectives of work immersion. Enrich, pang-apat po, enrich their skills and communications in human relations. It depends always on the strand or track they have chosen. Next, number 5, develop good habits, attitudes, appreciation, and respect for work. Next slide, please. Prepare the students to be more competent in their chosen path. Okay, so the importance of work immersion in different fields. Okay, so with all the aspects involved like economics, health, and education, our country has been experiencing big changes lately. For they say that changes is only the constant thing in this world. Sabi nga naman nila. So in terms of education, the Philippines educational system has been developed to provide the learners the best. So it happened the moment we changed our own curriculum system from the basic form to widely used one, which is the K-12 curriculum program. So, and just recently, the Department of Education has released the guidelines for the conduct of work immersion activities for the senior high school students in the country. The work immersion is a key feature in the senior high school curriculum and basically refers to the part of consist, which is 80 hours of hands-on experiences or work simulation with grades 11 and 12, but it is most likely applicable to the grade 12 students. So we'll undergo to expose them to the actual workplace setting and to enrich their competencies provided by the school under the supervision of the school head, especially Ma'am Danao, and the designated personnel of the partner. So this work immersion is the counterpart of internship program in the tertiary level. Counterpart lang po siya ng internship once you enter college life or college days or college years. So the said learning experiences that the student can get from it, which can range from 80 to 320 hours only, that will surely enable and help you young learners or students as they familiarize themselves with the workplace. Thus, experience workplace simulation and apply their competencies in areas of their specialization. So the completion of work immersion is prerequisite to graduation under the K-12 program. So this is at first rate of the Department of Education, since young people like you wants to explore and to connect with the people. This work immersion will provide them to acquire what? Ang kailangan ma-acquire natin dito? Relevant skills by performing an actual work setting. So the importance of work immersion must be seen as a vital point of giving students a venue to improve themselves through experiencing real life firsthand stuffs. So this is the very highlight of the senior high school program. So furthermore, the program provides opportunities to go through actual methodologies or by specific job. If you are TVL, if you are STEM, if you are ABM, specific job using their real tools, equipments, and especially if you are ABM, documents. So in effect, the workplace becomes a development venue for students to learn more about other chosen field and then practices. So experience is considered to be one of the life's greatest teachers. So they can use it as an inspiration as they gain expertise in their respective fields. So one of the goals of the K-12 program, education program, is to develop the learners, the competencies, the work ethic, and values. So we have here three required. Okay, first is to become familiar with the workplace. Second, for employment simulation. Third is to apply their competencies in areas of specialization, applied subjects in authentic work environment. So, however, the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has been caused massive impact in the education sector. The crisis condition hindered the regular operation of school, including the relevant offices and division, different establishments, region, central level, and its learners' physical attendance in school is prohibited and also limited. So in view with this, the new guidelines under the Memorandum DMCI 2020-00085, which is the guidelines for work immersion implementation during this crisis, has been implemented. So these guidelines will only take effect within the school year 2020 to 2020 to 2021. But then and again, we are not certain or 100% sure about it. So for our senior high school who will undertake immersion program, that's why St. Francis Institute Learning and Business High School Incorporated conducted this webinar for us students, for you students to be able to cope up and at least to know what is work immersion is. So to achieve the above objective, work immersion is thus a requirement for graduation from secondary education. So learners like you are immersed in actual work environments such as workshops, offices, and laboratories in which their prior training is relevant, but due to the pandemic, we weren't able to provide the simulation program. That's why we are conducting a webinar to acquaint us about about work immersion. Okay, proceeding to the next slide. Ayan. So that's it about the background and some importance about relevance and importance of work immersion. Thank you so much, po.
Thank you so much, Sir Barangay. At this juncture, may I call on our ever-supportive, understanding, and courageous Management Administrator, Mrs. Joyce Armalino, to introduce our first speaker for today.
To my fellow school administrators, senior high school teachers, students, and to our guest speakers, good morning. With all aspects involved like economics, health, and education, our country has been experiencing big changes recently, for they say that change is only the constant thing in the world. In terms of education, the Philippine education system has been developed to provide the learners the best, and just recently, the Department of Education has released the guidelines for the conduct of work immersion activities for senior high school students in our country, which they can use as epiphany or a window to the world of businesses, corporations, employments, and success. For our first speaker, he is a Dean's Lister and a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Business Management in Systems Technology Institute of Caloocan, a teacher by profession and an entrepreneur by choice. At present, he owns this heart of imparting knowledge, skills, and right attitude towards entrepreneurship, economics, marketing, accounting, and finance as a senior high school teacher handling STEM and ABM students at SFL BHSI. Let us give our warm welcome to Mr. Benjamin C. Veroy. Good morning, Sir Veroy.
Thank you, Ma'am Joyce, for a wonderful introduction. So allow me to acknowledge each and everyone. So to the administration headed by our school management administrator, the Admirable Mrs. Joyce R. Malinaw. Good morning, ma'am. Our school principal, the Women of Courage, Mrs. Alicia M. Danao. Good morning po. Our assistant school principal, the timeless Mrs. Maria Teresa A. Torrechante, senior high school department, under the supervision of our school coordinator, Mrs. Joanna Marie Monsanto, our team leader, the officer in charge for this work immersion event, the jack of all trades, Mr. Jerome R. Boragay. Good morning, sir. And with the contribution of my department, Miss Alexander Denise Ponday and Miss Kimberly Ojero. Good morning. Honorable guest speaker, beautiful and handsome senior high school students, a pleasant morning to each and everyone. And now na nakapagsip-sip na ako, malamang nakuha ko na ang inyong atensyon. Okay, so it is an honor to have the opportunity to be one of your speaker for this day. Allow me to present my slide. Thank you po. Kita na po ba? Thumbs up na po if nakikita na. Okay. So, before we proceed with my presentation about business etiquettes toward good leadership, teamwork, and progress, no, let's have some icebreakers. So, itong game natin or small activity natin is, I think, bago pa lang. No, kakalabas lang nito and it is an honor, no, and meron tayong privilege, no, na gawin ito. And after ng ating webinar, siguro sisikat na itong larong ito, no? So, ang game nito, tinatawag natin Guess the Gibberish game. So, para sa mga hindi nakakalam kasi bago nga lang siya, no? So, you have to guess the gibberish that I will provide on this screen. So you will read until you get the correct term, even phrases or word. No? So mga nonsense word yung gagamitin natin and i-identify natin kung anong klaseng phrases ba siya, word or term. Okay? Mr. Boragay, okay lang po ba na kunin natin yung mga participation ng bawat estudyante na magpa-participate para kung sino po ang pinakamataas na score, no, ibibigyan natin ng small appreciation. Malay nyo, bigyan ko kayo ng skin sa sa ML or Valorant, yung mga libre lang, no? So, example po muna tayo, no? So, guess the gibberish. Ayan, may clue tayo, students. O-lane crush. Okay, sino pwedeng sumagot? Okay, you can type sa chat box po, no? Online crush. Online crush daw, sabi ni Moises. Grabe si Moises talaga, no? So, online class. Online class po ba? No, tignan po natin. Santos. Okay, si Santos po ang nakakuha, sir. Okay, so example pa lang yan, Santos, no? So, wag kang excited, no? So, ito talaga yung pinapahula natin. So, first is, okay, clue. Famous line. Need, bear, give, yup. Okay, sino nakakuha ng sagot? Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, ang tamang sagot is never give up. Okay, very good. Sino po nakakuha, sir?
Miss Andalis.
Andalis. Okay, very good, Andalis. Okay, next. Okay, 2 out of 100. But, okay, ang clue natin, motivation. We kinda this. Okay. Weekend, okay? Anong ano? Okay. Anong all by myself? Sino nag-chat ng all by myself? Walang ano yan. Okay, sige. Okay, ang tamang sagot po ay we can do this. Okay, very good. Sino po nakakuha?
Mr. Tugna po.
Okay, very good. Okay, 3 out of 100. Clue, wala tayong ibibigay na clue. Anyone? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Level up. Okay, ang tamang sagot, opportunity. Okay. Second to the last. Okay, ito. Work. Ang clue natin is work. Okay, gab and near view. Okay. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, tamang sagot is job interview na alam ko ilan sa inyo is kinakabahan na, no, para diyan. Okay? And last. Okay. Lead. Okay? None. Siyempre, hindi tayo magbibigay ng clue. Mahirap yan eh. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Ang tamang sagot po ay leadership. Okay. Who gets the highest score, sir?
Katuwa Will Andre po.
Ituwa Will Andre. Naku, gusto ata ng skin ni Nana ni Will Andre. Okay, sige. Congratulations and thank you for participating in my small activity. Okay. So, to start my talk, no, I just want to discuss or elaborate, okay, the first, our team, no, which is the Metamorphosis. Na nasabi na po ni Honorable Mrs. Danao, and introduction for Miss Ponday. So, the work immersions webinar is all about the metamorphosis. In other terms, no, it is a biological process by which an animal physically develops after birth or hatching. In other words, class, it is a process. Just like an example in this picture, no, the parophagy, no, the butterfly, no, merong transformation na nagaganap. Okay? So the butterfly has to go through this process to properly form its wings. So kinakailangan niyang dumaan sa mga stages na 'yan, no? Yung pagiging or sa egg, magmula sa caterpillar hanggang sa pumasok siya sa kanyang pupa, lalabas siya, pipilitin niya hanggang sa ma-form yung kanyang pakpak. Yan, kagaya nga na sinabi natin, kinakailangan ng isang paru-paro na itong transformation na ito is mapagdaanan niya. Okay? Which we can compare it to ourselves. Kailangan natin ng proseso. Kailangan natin ng transformation, no, para maging isang better person. We have to go through all the processes that will help is to form ourselves into a better person. So yung mga nararanasan ba natin na hirap, iyak, bighati, no, kasama ba yan sa proseso? Kasama po ba yan sa transformation para sa ating sarili? Yes po. No? So imagine that, class. Yung caterpillar tinamad. No, hindi siya pumasok sa kanyang pupa. No? Ayaw niya lumabas or gusto niya agad-agad lumabas. Sa tingin niyo ba makaka-form ba siya ng magandang pakpak? Sa tingin niyo ba makakalipad siya ng maayos? Sabi, gaganon-ganon yun. No? Yung parang iika-ikayang lumipad. No? Ganon din po sa tao. Ganon din po para sa ating sarili. Kinakailangan natin dumaan sa mga obstacles, no? Sa mga challenges para ma-form yung ating sarili at ma-convert natin ito to become a better person. Okay? So, it is us for ourselves into a better person para ma-reach natin yung ating goal in life. No, yung goal in life natin. These are things that you want to accomplish in your mind. Sige nga, isipin ninyo, ano yung inyong goals in life? Siguro po papasok na sa isip nyo, no? Si Placides gustong maging accountant, no? Si Will gustong maging photographer kasi I think mahilig si Will sa screenshot. So ganon ang gusto niya, no? No? So yun yung mga classification natin and yun yung ginagawa natin to reach our goals in life. No. So once we reach our life goals, diyan na po papasok yung success. And yung success na po na ito is hindi pa po matatapos doon. Continuous po yan. And once you reach your success, we motivate. Kailangan naman natin pumasok din sa cycle ng iba, no? Para ma-motivate yung ibang tao. We are also need to inspire. And how we inspire or how you inspire people. Dito na papasok si attitude, no? Dito na papasok yung ating attitude. And professionally speaking, no, dito na natin pag-uusapan si business etiquette. Okay? So, to inspire people as a leader, no, you must to consider some reminders, classification about how you determine a leadership. Paano po ba or ano po ba yung concept ng pagiging isang leader, sir? No? So in some definition, no, leadership is the ability of an individual or a group of individual to influence and guide followers or other member of an organization. Ibig sabihin po ba si leadership is hindi position? Hindi po ba siya obligation? Hindi po. Being a leader is not a position. or an obligation. It is ability. It is the ability. Abilidad ito ng isang tao, kakayahan ito ng isang tao at kailangan natin itong i-express. Hindi ba pwede, sir, na, sir, hindi ako top 1 eh. Paano po ako magiging leader? Leader po tayo in all aspect. Madami pong classification and paano po natin to maka-classify? Everyone is deserved to become a leader. Yes? Agree? So, according to bakerdonelson.com, meron daw tayong three fundamentals about leadership. First is every person is a leader in some capacity. Okay? So you must always to look whether in business, pwede kang maging leader sa school ninyo, sa family members ninyo, even some different clubs, talent clubs like art club. Meron ba tayong Genyo club? Wala po? Okay, wala po ba? Singing club, madami pwede tayong maging leader, no? In our circle of friends, pwede po tayong maging leader. Everyone must to create a unique leadership role. So, kung ikaw, sa tingin mo meron kang mga aspeto ng pagiging isang leader, you must to provide a unique leadership role and do not miss the opportunity to influence others. Bakit? Kasi papasok ka dun sa cycle ng metamorphosis eh. No? Kung namomotivate ka ng ibang tao at na-reach mo na yung goals in life mo, meron ka ng successful life, mag-inspire ka naman ng tao. By means of what? In many different ways. No? So next, everyone must continue growing as a leader. So you must always look forward to do it. Do not stay with just what you are. You should strive for a brighter future. So yung sinasabi ko nga po kanina, ang success hindi lang po yan kapag na-reach mo na, titigil ka na. So look for the other opportunity. Daming bukas na pintuan yan. Kakatok ka na lang at antay mo na lang yan magbukas para sa iyo. Okay? Leadership traits can be learned and nurtured. No? So, it is allowing each of us the opportunity to become a better leader. No? We must to inspire, we must to create some unique ideas, no? And we must to create a valuable ability. No? But what makes an effective leader? Ano ba yung mga effective leader na dapat natin i-consider? So meron tayong 5 essential leadership skills na pwede natin i-consider. So madami tayong mga skills, no, na dapat i-consider, but this is some basic skills na dapat natin tandaan. First is the communication. Okay, may multo ata sa mouse ko, ma'am. Sorry po. Okay, first is the communication. So we all know that communication is the most powerful tool for doing everything. So lahat naman ng aspect kasama si communication. Kung hindi ka marunong makipag-communicate, no, to your team members, no, maaring may problema sa iyo, maaring may problema sa team member mo. And kaakibat din po ng communication is you must to be a good listener. Okay? Leaders should constantly look for opportunities to deliver useful information to team members about their performance. Kung marunong ka makipag-communicate, dapat marunong ka rin dapat makinig. No? Alamin mo lahat ng abilidad ng team members mo, pakinggan mo kanilang mga opinions, at doon ka makakabuild ng maayos at magandang teamwork. Malinaw po? Next, motivation. Yan, kagaya lang din yan ng mga sinabi ko kanina. No? Leaders need to inspire. No? Kailangan natin attain success, inspire others for they to become a better people as well. No? Huwag ka namang KJ. No? Inspire ka din ng ibang tao. No? Kailangan mo yan para pumasok ka rin sa process ng iba. Okay, next. Okay, creativity. Okay, creativity. What are the possibilities to achieve your goals? What are the alternatives if you encounter failures? So you need to think outside the box, no? Huwag ka lang magfo-focus doon sa goal mo, no? Lumagpas ka rin sa comfort zone mo. No? Isa nga yan sa mga kinaklasify natin as a leader. No? We need to think outside the box. Kaya nga tayo may mga curriculum na nag-open ng ability natin to think, no? Like the philosophy, the understanding of culture. Madami pa pong aspeto, no? To create or to be a creative mind. Next, you must to know how to be a responsible leader. No, a leader is responsible for both the successes and failures of his or her team. So have a vision, no? So you can lead your team to success. Okay? Paano naman, sir, yung paano kapag hindi po nakikipag-cooperate yung mga team ko? Okay naman po ito eh. Meron naman po ako nitong 5 skills na to eh. No? Sinasabi ko nga po tayo, we are all leaders in all aspect. No, pwede tayong maging leader na meron tayong abilidad eh. Meron tayong creative mind, no, responsible tayo, hindi pwede pong hindi or wala. So, now we're done learning how to be an efficient and effective leader. Let's talk about how to be a part of a team. No, how to have a effective teamwork. Okay? So according to Ring Central, meron tayong mga meron tayong mga traits, no, of an effective team. Okay? So ano-ano po 'iyon? So first, they must to be productive. So when your workers are meeting their quotas and deadlines on a regular basis without fail, you know that your team has found their rhythm, no? So kung may hinahabol kayong deadline, no, at nakakapasa kayo, no? Ibig sabihin, maayos yung leadership, maayos yung teamwork po ninyo. Nakikipag-collaborative po kayo sa isa't isa. Okay? Sir, paano po yung isang member ko hindi naman po tumutulong? Magiging domino effect 'yan, no? Domino effects if one of the member of a team does not participate and does not to do their part. Pwedeng magkaroon ng mga delays, no? Magkaroon pa ng problema, no? At 'yun, yung isa sa dapat natin tinitingnan, no? Para maging maayos or maging effective ba yung ating teamwork. Next, happy at work. So they are actually happy at work. So team collaboration and higher morale go hand in hand. In fact, okay, based on statistics, no, kinuha ko ata to sa statistician ko, si Miss Kimberly. No, so 54% of worker will stay with the company longer. They achieve a sense of belongings and community. Imagine class, your department, walang toxic. Walang toxic dun sa member mo, sa leader mo. No, isa daw 'yon sa mga key factors kung bakit nagtatagal ang isang tao sa isang trabaho or sa isang team member. No? So, they achieve the sense of belongings and community. In short, a strong teamwork results in loyalty. Kung masaya ka ba? Aalisan mo ba? No, kung masaya ka sa kanya, ihiwalayan mo ba? So hindi. No? Dito tayo magke-create ng loyalty. Yung iba may loyalty award ba dito? Ibig sabihin napakasaya nila sa St. Francis. No, so they focus on the individual strength. No, team that works well together know how to delegate tasks to individuals based on what they do best in order to collaborate and shine individually. So meron tayong kanya-kanyang abilidad, no, na dapat natin na i-contribute. Kaya iba sinasabi ko sa ilang mga estudyante ko na lahat tayo may ability na dapat iambag natin, no? Kasi kung hindi natin 'to iambag, sayang lang, no? Anong iaambag natin sa team natin, pansit canton lang? Syempre kailangan natin ng collaborative mind, no? Hindi pwede pansit canton na lang ng pansit canton. Okay? Next, ito, magre-reflect lang din yan sa mga diniscuss ko kanina. They know how to communicate. Siyempre nga, di ba, important tools is communication. No? Makipag-usap ka, no, sa mga team members mo kung may problema, no, kasi it might affect your progress. Pwede maka-apekto ito sa progreso, no, kung may family problem or merong ibang for instances, no, hindi siya makapag gawa ng mga activity, you can talk to them, no? Pakiusapan mo, alamin mo as a leader, as a team member, kung anong problema para tuloy tayo sa progress. Hindi tayo madedelay, hindi tayo matitibag. And last, they respect their co-workers. Remember, respect is a big word. Kahit saan aspeto po. And we must know this value with or without your team. Okay? So, yan po yung mga traits na dapat natin alamin or dapat natin i-create to become a successful teamwork. No? Collaborative mind, dapat lagi ka masaya. Sir, paano po pag hindi po ako masaya? No? So, papasok na tayo sa ibang webinar niyan kung ganyan po. No? So, after identify how to become a better person, okay, how to be an effective leader, and how to participate in your team, no, let us know what our next consideration should be. So allow me to borrow the Mrs. Danao said in our GTM last Valentine's, I think, no? So tinanong si Mrs. Danao, no, what is the secret to a successful relationship? And Mrs. Danao said, no, the secret to a successful relationship is to put God at your center. Now, pwede rin mag-reflect yan eh. Pwede ko po ba mahiram, ma'am? At i-reflect lang natin sa malawakang usapin, no? So, put God at center of everything. So, that is rule number 1. Kung may creative mind ka, no, kung meron kang talino, meron kang responsibility, no, kung wala si God, no, sa center ng lahat ng ginagawa mo, no, wala din saysay lahat ng pinag-aaralan natin, no, kasi siya yung nagbibigay ng progress, no, siya yung nagbibigay ng mga challenges, obstacle para maging better person ka. Okay? So kung wala si God, no, magiging na tayo, inspirational thoughts na tayo, no, para ma-develop yung ating progress to become a better person as a leader, as a team member. Okay? So before I end, I will leave you a quotation that you cannot predict future, but you can build it. Okay, hindi mo pwedeng hulaan yung magiging future mo. Hindi ka pwedeng pumunta sa baklaran, magpapahula ka doon kung ano pwedeng mangyari sa'yo. No? Pero pwede mong gawin yung future mo. By means of what? Studying. Respect others. No? Create something new, no, na makakapag-innovate para sa sarili mo. No? You cannot predict future. Uupo na lang ako sa table. Ang hula sa akin, yayaman ako by 2030. Antayin ko. May mangyayari po ba kung uupo lang tayo, aantayin natin yung prediction na yon? Wala po. But we can build it. We can create our own future. We can choose our own path, no, to become a better person. Okay? We are all capable in all aspects. We have paths we need to take. It's up to us how to find it. Okay? Baka ako pa yung maghanap ng pot para sa inyo, ha? Or wag na yung guest speaker pa. No? So, that is my presentation for this day. So, I hope you adopt my discussion about the business etiquettes towards good leadership, teamwork, and progress. So, thank you to my administration, to my co-department and senior high school department, senior high school students. Thank you and God bless us all.
Thank you so much, Sir Veroy. And according to him, we can't predict the future, but we can build it. Diba nga may mga kasabihan na every success story requires a first step. So I believe that you are already in many, ilang step na ba kayo? Sa tingin nyo, nakakailang step na ba kayo towards your success? Okay po. Ayan. So, do we have any questions from our students? May katanungan ba kayo kay Sir Veroy? You could raise it now. Wala? Wala kayong tanong? Kailangan magtanong kayo, +5. Oh, grade 11. Baka naman. Yes, Gwen. Ayan, very good si Gwen talaga. Oh.
May one question lang po ako, ma'am. Kasi I've dealt with this in the past po. So what if hindi naman kayo nagkakaroon ng arguments ng teamworks mo, pero hindi kayo magkaka-vibe. Like iba yung iba yung vibe nila sa vibe mo. Tapos hindi naman kayo nagtatalo pero hindi rin kayo nagkakasundo. What should I do po?
So, okay, thank you very much, Miss Gwen. No? So, sinabi ko nga po kanina, no, communication is very important tool, no? So, create an icebreaker, know each other, no? So, hindi pwedeng hindi kayo magkakaroon ng mga pagkakapareho, no? So, if ang nararamdaman mo is hindi mo sila nakaka-vibes, no? We can adjust, no, and we can communicate to them, no. Let's create a icebreaker or some fun activities, no, before we proceed in our actual doings, no. So I think communication is one of the important tools, no. So I hope I answer your question.
Thank you, sir.
Ayan. Napatawa tuloy ako kasi pumasok sa utak ko. Di ba may kantang Caught a Vibe? So, alam niyo yan, di ba? Caught a Vibe. Na 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 na. Ang wait lang, i-explain ko. Tumawa ka agad dyan, Semperoy. Di ba meron dong line, meet me at our spot. In relation, para sagutin yung katanungan ni Gwen, you have to meet in one spot. You have to know each other. Diba? Para po magkaroon kayo ng mutual understanding. Ayan lamang po. Do you have any more questions? Grade 11. Grade 12. O, si Gwen lang may +5. Bahala kayo, ha? Ang dami-dami nyo. Tignan nyo, 58 tayo nandito. Wala kayong question. Come on. Gising-gising. Wala po talaga magko-question. Sir, pero ikaw na lang kaya magtanong sa kanila. Ayaw nila mag-question eh. Ayan, si Will. Will, magiging photographer ka daw, sabi ni Sir Beroy.
Yeah, ako taga-picture na ako. Pag dito, gaano kalaking dapat dadalhin ng pasensya pag magiging leader, sir? Yun na lang po matanong ko.
Kagaya ng pasensya ko sa inyo, no? So, paano natin dadalhin 'yon, no? Kidding aside, no? So, if you have a responsibilities to take, no, you must to habaan pa yung pasensya na hinahawakan mo. No, if you are a leader, at meron kang mga deadlines, meron kang mga procedure na dapat mo or dapat ninyong tapusin, no? Pwede tayong mag-create dito ng maayos na upang makapag-build in tayo ng magandang ng progreso, no? So, kung hanggang saan, no, kaya mo, wala tayong limits, no? Wala tayong limits, no, para sa pag-handle no ating ano. Kaya nga pag tinanong din kayo how you handle your stress no? So, doon din papasok yung ating personality. Kung ikaw ay short-tempered, no? Hindi na leadership yung pag-uusapan natin, no? Ayun na
Ayan.
po.
So Will, dapat may unlimited supply ka. Okay, ng pasensya. Bumili ka na sa tindahan, mura lang yun eh. Pasensya biscuit. Joke lang. Okay, Justin. May question po siya.
Sir, as a question po, since being a leader, communication is the most important variable of a team. So, how can you start the communication process with the team members for them to have the common goal as you?
Okay. In my case, no, so sa mga goals na dapat or sa mga goals na-reach na ng inyo pong lingkod, no, madami rin po tayong mga obstacles at madami rin po tayong mga struggles na kinaharap, no, to become an effective communication, okay, by means of everything, no, you must to create an idea, no, to form a valuable present. Kagaya nga din sinabi natin kanina, kung babalikan din natin, no, everything happens with the reason din po, no, kapag tayo ay may mga struggles, obstacles na dapat natin kaharapin.
Ayan. So, meron pa po ba tayong mga katanungan? Do you have any more questions? Okay, grade 11, wala pa nagtatanong ha. Binabantayan ko kayo grade 11 ha. Okay, I have a DM here, Sir Beroy. Hindi ko na lang babanggitin kung kanino galing. How to prevent the drawbacks na nakakahinder sa atin para maging leader. Kasi it's easy to say na be responsible, pero ang hirap niya i-execute. Go, Sir Beroy.
Okay. So meron tayong mga struggles na kaya karapan, sabi nga natin, madali lang na sabihin na maging responsible tayo. But paano po natin mako-consider ito? By means of the effectiveness and how we can communicate to each and everyone, no? Kung ipapasok natin yung kung paano maging isang good listener, no? And paano natin i-adopt and paano natin i-process sa ating isipan, no? Kung madali lang sabihin ang pagiging isang responsible or ang pagiging isang responsible, kailangan din natin alamin kung paano makinig doon sa mga mas may nakakaalam. Paano natin harapin yung mga struggles na dapat natin i-consider at paano natin siya may a-adapt.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sir Veroy, and to the students who asked questions. To introduce our next speaker, may I call on again our Management Administrator, Mrs. Joyce R. Malino.
Once again, good morning. Work immersion really sounds exciting. This is stressful in so many ways during the face-to-face. They were assigned to a specific institution, business organization, or establishment parallel to specializations. St. Francis Institute Learning and Business High School Incorporated, along with other private schools, arrange a workshop seminar as a definite requirement to succeed your work immersion. After this webinar, our guest speaker, together with our HR officer, will conduct you a mock interview similar to a real-life scenarios on how it is to be in an actual job interview. So please be prepared. Now, let me introduce to you our HR officer. She's a graduate in Bachelor of Science in Psychology in Cavite State University, IMUS, a former human resource assistant in recruitment department at Sanford Marketing Corporation and Bacoor Doctors Medical Center Incorporated. Please welcome and good morning, Miss Mary Grace P. Villaluna. Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, Ma'am Joyce. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Naririnig po ako?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, senior high school. Kamusta? Mukhang mahihain yung mga ano natin senior high natin dyan Hello?
Hi po.
Hi, hello. Hi. Okay, so I will be the one to take the interview for some of you later. So, please be ready and yan. See you later na lang.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Villaluna. Now, let us meet our last speaker. She's a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Information Management at EMA University. This person has worked with large multinational companies and experience. She has immersed herself in various processes where she excelled as a quality analyst and later become an operations supervisor. At present, she is with American Express, Amex, the world's leading financial institution, where she maintains top in the field of managerial and global servicing network excellence awardee. Aside from the corporate life, she's also an entrepreneur, managing owner, partner of Crisp Eats in BF Resort Village, Las Piñas, and a sole proprietor of Mary Kay Shop. Please welcome Miss Maria Concepcion Angat Malamog. Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, naka-mute po ata kayo. Yes.
Hello. Hi, Joyce.
Yes, good morning po.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, senior high school students. So before I proceed, thank you, St. Francis Institute Learning and Business High School for inviting me to be a speaker for today for the Metamorphosis Work Immersion webinar and workshop. It's a big opportunity for me. It's a great opportunity rather because it's actually the first time I'll be speaking, to senior high school, and I'm glad, I'm really honored to be a part of, this session. All right, so we can start. All right, so today I will be tackling or speaking to you about work ethics, behavioral, and confidentiality. Just to give you, how this works and what to do. All right, so the objective of this session or this webinar is to give you the definition of work ethics. Apart from that, we want to make sure to relate the concept of your current lives as students with work ethics. And also we will be giving out some examples of work ethics and workplace behavior as well. And we also have tips, some tips on how to be successful at work. And lastly, work confidentiality and why is it important. All right, just a few, bits and pieces about me. So my name is quite long. So you can call me Connie with a K. I don't know, it started with a K, but you can comfortably talk to me or call me with that name. As what Miss Joyce mentioned a while ago, so I'm now with American Express, but prior to that, I have 19 years of BPO industry experience already, mainly as a team leader or supervisor. I graduated in AMA University with the information management course. I know that, at the back of your head, why did I, land with, the BPO or a financial company? All right. So before I joined the BPO industry, I was also part of an IT company, and I also started my career as a government employee for quite some time. But of course, as time goes and everything evolves. So BPO is a big thing back then. So I started my BPO career as a CSR, or a customer service representative, and then moved to quality department. And now, as what mentioned, I'm now a supervisor leading 12 people in American Express. All right, so fun facts. Well, actually, before that, I'm apart from my work. If you heard earlier, I also own some businesses, small businesses, that is. But the thing is, if you ask me why do I still have small businesses, but of course I also have my work. Apart from that, I want to have something on my own. Like at the end of the day, if I retire, then I have something like on my own, like a business of my own. And of course, I'm also part of I invest on some companies or some trading, line of trading. And if you heard about crypto, I'm also into it. It's a big thing right now. So apart from that, of course, prior pandemic, I love to travel. If you see my picture, I've been in the one of the seven wonders of the world, which is Taj Mahal. I've also, went to China, the Great Wall. So I have five more wonders to go. And apart from that, I'm also a coffee holic. I make my own coffee. We have a part. I'm also a part owner of French Cafe, which sells bottled coffee. Maybe soon you'll be able to know where it is. And of course, since I'm also part owner of food business, I'm a certified foodie. So that's it about me. Let me ask or maybe go around and see how, or I want to know something about you. So tell me who you are. All right, before we go to that, I just want to, just quickly give you some rule while, we talk about the work ethics, behavioral, and confidentiality. Before we go to that, let's make this, as interactive as possible. So I may ask questions. So I may be, I want some of you, if not all, would share some things like experiences and how you know about the topic. So we'll make this as enjoyable as possible so that you'll be able to learn from it as well. So let's move on. So again, as I mentioned, sorry, can we go back to the previous one? Okay, so tell me who you are. Let me ask, any one of you, whoever wants to go first, to tell me what your name, your nickname, and what do you want to achieve in maybe in the next, after you graduate from college, that is. Maybe we can go around. Can I ask someone to start?
We have one ma'am. His name is Justin Hilapo. You may
All
now
right.
start.
Hello, Miss Mariconi. I'm Justin Silapo and you can call me Tin. I also work in the BPO industry for a month, I guess. It's under a teleperformance and into a telco account and what else? So I also like coffee in just cold brew, I guess.
Mhm.
I have a few questions. If it would be Um, is it okay if I ask a few questions since I'm planning to go back into the BPO industry after the grade 12 and just try to earn my keep for college?
Mhm.
What account is the best to apply at since telco has a pretty bad reputation and I want to do something a little easier or a little more accepting to new recruits.
Well, what's your first name again? Sorry.
Justin po.
Justin, right. Justin for sharing. So Justin, to answer your question, quickly answer your question. No? So telco is it's a number one industry. To tell you honestly, for BPO, it may be tough. It's difficult because I started my career. Well, actually, I was with satellite TV company, and then I moved to telco. So it's really hard. But since it's your first month, you will learn a lot from it. You have to have the experience first, because if you move to another, another, let's say, in line of business. Let's say, for example, for a credit card company or a bank, then it will be easier for you. So telco is, the first place to be. All right. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, so let's proceed. Anyone from the students here, tell me who you are. Who would like to volunteer and tell? Yes, Gwen.
Good morning, ma'am. So my name is Gunas El Placides, and you guys can call me Gwen for short. In 5 years or after I graduate college, I see myself having an accounting firm. So I want to have my own accounting firm to be able to travel around the world. I have a lot of hobbies. I enjoy knitting, painting, reading, writing poems and stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I also journal. That's all about myself.
Thank you, Gwen. That's great. That's a great that's great to hear that you want to be part of an accounting firm or have an accounting firm of your own. That's a pretty long way to go, but I'm sure if you get to have the mindset and hard work, you'll surely be successful.
Any others who would like to tell who they are? Yes, Kaling.
Hi ma'am, good morning po. So I'm Zandro Kaling, from grade 12 STEM. I'm from Imus Cavite. I'm very curious about a lot of things, including this one. So first, I would like to introduce myself, my qualities, such as this question. Just like what I said, I'm very curious and would like to know a lot more. So as a professional, I would like to ask an advice from you. As a novice and have little to no experience, what type of industry would you recommend us novice or rookies to start off and gain experiences?
Thank you, Zandro. Thank you for the introduction and the question. Well, I wouldn't, tell you which company or which line of work would you want, because at the end of the day, it's you, it's your choice. So whatever you feel like you want to join, be it a BPO industry, it may be a government office, it's really up to you. So these, since you're now still studying, and maybe some of you are, partly working, then you'll be able to, in the future, in the coming months or maybe years, you will be able to assess yourself and maybe, think about what you really want. Because as I mentioned earlier, I didn't even imagine that I would end up as, a team leader. I was actually just, a simple human being at the beginning. But then as years go by, you will be able to, assess yourself and think about what you really want. And you have to, if you have the will and you have the dedication, and you really want to go for it, then by all means you can. So you just have to have that, mindset, and be, and work hard, really hard.
Okay, thank you so much, Ayan. So let's have the question and answer portion later. Okay, let's answer first our speaker's question for you. So tell her who you are. Let's stick to that first. Yes, Santos.
Um, and so hello, I'm Rafael, but my friends call me Rafi. So um, my hobbies are watching documentaries and playing video games. So kalaro ko talaga yung iba dito, sila Zandro, sila Shan, etc. So ang ano ko, ang uh, dream job ko is to work as an aerospace engineer. Tapos ang dream company ko is either sa NASA or sa SpaceX, which is pretty far-fetched, pero parang para sa akin there's no it doesn't hurt to try, 'di ba? So parang if ever naman na mag-fail ako, marami namang possible other career options para sa akin kung sakaling hindi ko maabot 'yun. Pero hindi naman ako natatakot na mag-think outside the box kahit para sa akin is medyo malayo talaga yung yung position ko ngayon sa gusto kong dream job. Pero sana in the near future maabot ko siya with with my eagerness to reach my dream.
Thank you, Rafi. That's a great thing. It's not typically that I hear someone would like to be in the aerospace industry. So yeah, SpaceX it's a great company owned by Elon Musk. So so I'm looking forward. Maybe you tap on me if in case that you are already in SpaceX. Thank you for sharing. So maybe we can move forward since we only have a few minutes. Minutes left. Thank you guys for sharing. All right. So before I start, the topics, let me share my favorite quote. So it's from Steve Jobs. I know everyone knows him. Be a yardstick of quality. Some people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected. So for me, it's quality over quantity all the time. So I'm a huge believer of doing things with the highest standard. All right. So that's my favorite quote you can share. You can also have that as a favorite quote in the future. Okay. All right, so just to share with you some famous personalities and what they do in and out or their daily lives to be successful. So we have the CEO for Apple, Tim Cook. So basically what he does for 4:30 a.m. or 4:30 in the morning, he begins his day emailing his employees, and then he is a certified workaholic. Obviously, because Apple is very successful, number one in the phone. Number one phone company. Or yeah. Next is and he revealed that he is the first to be in the office and last to leave the office. So that's how workaholic he is. And of course, another thing is he goes like he holds staff meetings on a Sunday night, that is, to prepare for Monday. All right, for the next personalities, I know you know them, the famous tennis legends, Venus and Serena Williams. So routinely, or what they do since, they were 7 and 8, they have been hitting tennis balls at 6 a.m. So they've won 28 Grand Slam singles championships, and they also revealed that they get up 6 in the morning and or after school to go or have tennis practices. And then lastly, I know you know him, the very, very famous Michael Jordan. Of course, he's an NBA legend. So he spends his summer taking hundreds of jump shots in a day. According to his coach or long-time coach, Phil Jackson, that's what made him a legend. And another thing is, please underline this term or this value. He's very humble. So that's why he worked constantly to be the best. All right, so let's start. Okay, work ethics. So guys, I just want to quickly ask, just one of you can answer. What do you know about work ethics? Just a simple, a brief description of what you know. Anyone? None? All right, we can move on. So work.
We have two
Sorry.
students, but I mean three would like to answer.
All right.
Okay, let's start with Placides.
So, work ethics is the values that must be upheld in a work environment.
All right, thank you.
How about you, Justin?
Same with Miss Placidas with the values. It's also the way, the proper way of doing things in work, especially like confidentiality and stuff.
Okay, what's your version, Santos?
For me, work ethics is the internal factor that decides on how you approach every issue or every problem in your life. So hindi lang siya sa trabaho pero pati sa pag-aaral or pati sa daily activities. So na-apply pa rin yung work ethics sa kung paano mo siya matatakel.
All right. Great description, great insights, guys. So I like the description that you've given. So we can, I can give you some of the definitions first. Thank you. All right. So work ethics is a valuable attribute that employers look for in every industry. So let's focus on the workplace. So how ethics works in in every industry. All right. So showing the values associated with a good work ethic can increase your employability and help you position yourself for better opportunities. Employees with excellent work ethic are often considered by employers for opportunities for special projects. They should be, they're reliable, dedicated, and disciplined. And of course, rules and procedures that are carried out in an office by the employer and employees to maintain professional culture. Of course, lastly, as one of you mentioned, work ethic is an attitude of determination and dedication towards one's job. Now, before we move on, I just want to quickly ask, or maybe someone, I just want, someone would share, how can you relate to being a student for having a good work ethic? What do you think?
Yes, let's have Garpida.
For me po, it's about being responsible on how you study and on how you manage your time when it comes to studying as a student po, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Let's have another from Kaling.
So also for me, it's the same. So for me, it's about how you handle tasks and able to perform and accomplish your the goals that you have set for yourself and the responsibilities that that you have to perform by day.
Right, thank you, guys. Anyone else? Okay, maybe we can move on. Thank you for sharing. All right. So what does ethic mean? So let's, just go through the main word ethics and the description of and the values that we get from that word. Okay. So ethics are a general set of rules, as one of you mentioned, that are important to be followed to be part of a society. It guides one to live in the right way in the society. And ethical principles can be either inherited or learned. All right, so guys, being said that, um, so you mentioned about, being responsible, manage your time, handle tasks. So in summary, is work ethics, or let's say ethics alone, important to your daily lives? If so, can you give an example, like one experience that you can share? Anyone, like school, yeah. Okay, we have a show of hands.
Okay, let's have Placides.
So, in my opinion, in my situation, I think it's very important to uphold these ethics, especially in our life. Even it doesn't have to be at work. It can be applied on our daily decision making, like getting coffee or milk in the morning. We have to, for example, in my situation, I have a grandfather and he is half paralyzed. He got stroke, unfortunately. So he's been bedridden for 5 years now. And when I wake up in the morning, I decide whether I should put myself first or my father first. So I should I I make his coffee first before mine and all that. So I uphold these morals. So not only in work but also in my daily decision making.
Thank you for sharing. That's a good thing. You always think of others before yourself.
Let's have Rafael.
Uh, for me, pinaka nahirapan ako especially in this time of pandemic is separating my responsibilities and duties as a student and as a part of a household. Kasi syempre, dahil online class, nasa bahay lang ako. So, meron ding mga times na nagme-merge sila sa isa't isa na nakakalimutan ko na meron pa pala akong ginagawang, kailangang gawin as a student na nakakalimutan ko dahil na either na tawag ito, na-overwhelm ako sa workload ko na as a part of a household or as a student. So, natutunan ko din ngayon yung time management and yung organizational skills ko para ma-handle ko yung time ko para magkaroon ako ng time for work and for my personal needs.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, it's especially now that we're doing basically everything online. So, sometimes we're juggling. We have different hats to fill in, especially if you're staying with your family. Of course, basically it's part of our lives, like our daily lives. Even when you're, whenever you go, you want to make sure that everyone is in place. So that's a good thing. Thank you for sharing.
I think we still have one more.
Mm-hmm.
Who was that? Okay, Kaling.
So, based on this pandemic too, I learned how to truly handle myself and to discipline myself regarding time management. Kasi nga po, yung mga nasa bahay nga rin po natin is the free time in our home ethics or leisure is merging with our working environment. So we need to apply work ethics so that I can control myself from avoiding procrastination so that I can accomplish my task and to have my free time in my own time po.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I agree. So we tend to procrastinate since we're at home only. So we tend to, think. I mean, it's a basic culture. I mean, it's a culture of us Filipinos to, tomorrow na lang or later na lang. But then, we want to make sure that everything is being done on a timely manner. So thank you. All right, maybe we can move on. Thank you guys for sharing. Now, here are some important ethical terms and principles. All right, so um, these are defined as the acts and actions which we make in our daily life. All right, of course, devotion, respect, hard work, love are the true values of a person. That's basic. All right, so moral. So this is very important. So these are, certain duties which needs to be done for the betterment of the society. And of course, integrity. This is actually my favorite value. Just to, give you, a heads up. For every company, integrity is very, very important. So integrity means that you're doing the right thing even when no one is watching. So it defines you as not just a human, but also someone who can be relied upon at work. Like if you're someone honest, trustworthy, then you will go a long way. So as it mentioned here, it means that you have to be always honest, sincere under circumstances. And of course, the person, as I mentioned, who is honest and sincere always sustains for a longer duration in the company as compared to others. Of course, the character. Okay, so you have to have the character. This is the one of the most important ethics. In short, it describes you as a person. All right, it tells you about your behavior towards others and your actions towards the different situations as what mentioned a while ago. So she thought of someone else, doing something to her loved one first before herself. So that's a character. And of course, rules and regulations. So this define you and put a limit to events that are dangerous for your lifestyle. These laws gives us the ability to differentiate between right and wrong. And of course, the dedication and work. So your dedication, the greater output, and the greater output, the greater are the results, or the greater output and the results is, that's when you do or have a stronger dedication in work. Dedication makes you stronger for tough situations, also becomes a key player in motivating others during hard times. So let's say you're someone who does things very meticulously, so someone might be able to have you as an example. So you can lead by example, so you can be able to teach or influence someone to do the same thing as you are. So the more a person is responsible in nature, the more efficiently and responsibly he will do the given task. All right. So guys, before we move on to another topic, I know we have a lot to tackle. We still have two more topics. So with ethics, before we move on to the new one, do you have anything in mind? Well, actually, we still have one more, sorry. We can move on to the next slide. We can move on to the benefits of ethics in the workplace there. Okay, before I ask you guys. So here are some of the things or the benefits that you get to in the workplace if you have, the ethics or the work ethics. All right, number 1 is the asset protection and assurance. Okay, this is when employees possess ethical behavior in the workplace, it will reduce your company's maintenance cost to a great extent. So say for example, someone is aware or everyone is aware of their responsibilities towards the company. Of course, they would not be able or they would be careful not to damage any equipment of the company since they're valuable, and harming or damaging them in any way will be wrong. So this ensures systematic maintenance of all assets. Now for productivity increase, so ethics increases productivity obviously, because if an employee or employees give value to the task given to them, they'll make sure to be punctual and complete the task productively. All right, so they will achieve their targets and will ensure greater sales if they're in sales or profits, and increase the productivity of the entire company. So this will also make sure that a group of people who will take responsibility and sail the company through any downfall and make the company come back stronger. Okay, so next is teamworks developed. So this improves teamwork. So if employees complete their individual tasks before time, before their deadline, they can interact more with their colleagues. So this way, a superior can assign team-related tasks. So all the employees will be able to work as a team for the betterment of the company, which will increase benefits. And this will also develop a mutual understanding and a healthy relationship among the employees, which will ensure growth in the long run. And of course, we have the increase in public image and brand value increases. So if the employees of the company are dedicated and carry out their responsibilities and duties towards the company environment, and others properly, this will make sure that the assets of the company are used to its full potential. So this will attract more customer base for high quality services or products. So this will also increase your brand value and popularize your services in the market and give tough competition to the other competitors. Okay, so we're on to the second to the last, adapted to changes. So a team of employees who are understanding, reliable, trustworthy, motivated, and responsible is definitely a key to company success. So they will adapt themselves to any situation and position that they're filled in. So if unexpected changes happen in the job market and the industry, and you're a part that requires adaptation to new changes, you will be able to be more susceptible to changes. Okay, and then last but not the least, it's the trouble-free work environment. So this is more on positive working environment. So if everybody makes amends with each other, creates a positive working environment, behaves friendly with their co-workers or co-employees, it ensures greater success and growth for the company. This will also make sure that there is no conflict situation that will arise or any misunderstanding at all. Okay. All right. So given that we've talked about the work ethics, we're covered the work ethics part of the session. What's your takeaway as soon to be employees or future employees or future businessmen, businesswomen? What would you take away? What would you what's this what are the learnings that you can be able to take from you in the long run or in the future?
Yes, Justin.
My main takeaway is that work ethics is one of the most vital part of being an employee, and thus helps to improve and helps develop your career and helps develop a career much further.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Moises.
Main takeaway from this topic, the work ethics, is the characters and integrity in the work ethics, because not only it will help you improve yourself, it will also help you the yung kunyari po is yung mga sa teamwork, katulad po ng nasabi kanina, kapag meron ka pong maayos na character, which is respect, mas madali po kayo makakapag-usap at wala din pong mangyayaring mga problema sa company nyo. Then sa integrity po, syempre, is makakatulong po sa mga production and direction.
All right. Thank you for sharing. That's a good takeaway.
How about you, Santos?
For me, I think ang pinaka-importante pa rin is yung communication, pero not just communication with others in terms of collaboration and cooperation and as well as respect, but also communication with yourself when it comes to discipline and responsibility.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. All right, maybe we can move on to the next topic. All right, so let's move on to work behavior. Of course, we are done with work ethics. Now we apply it to your work behavior. Okay, so behavior in the workplace is, playing a vital role that determines your entire work experience in a company. A positive behavior at work from employees leads to a higher productivity and performance by the team and the individual. So behavior in the workplace is how a person behaves at their work and with their colleagues. So behavior in the workplace encompasses how a person communicates at the workplace with their colleagues. All right. Okay, so why do you think you should have, or why do you think it's important to have a good workplace behavior? Given that we've talked about work ethics as well.
Yes, Ketua.
We did ask more productivity spread positivity, tapos pa ba? Teamwork po. If you have a good workplace.
Okay. Thank you.
Another one, Garpida.
For me po, I believe with the saying na no man is an island. So we work collaboratively with others. That's very important po.
Yeah, I agree with you. Especially, right, I mean, nowadays, you cannot work alone. I mean, if you work productively alone, that's fine, but it's best that you collaborate. It's best that you know and learn from others as well. And maybe you can also share best practices. Agree with that. Thank you. All right, I think we can move on. All right, so we can talk about importance of good behavior in the workplace. All right, so when employees are joyful about coming to work and collaborating with teammates, the morale in the workplace is high. When employees behave appropriately and positively at work, productivity may increase. And of course, good workplace behavior keeps the employees happy, increases productivity, which makes the organization more attractive option for potential candidates. If the company has employees who are professional and efficient at what they do, this reputation could potentially bring in more customers that help retain employees. All right, so we can move on to the next one. All right, so workplace behaviors of successful employees. So these are the tips now. So I can share based on experience or based on other people's experience as well. All right, so number one is being humble. Okay, so guys, very, very important. So as I talked about, earlier, I've shown you how Michael Jordan started, right? So as what his coach mentioned, Phil Jackson, he is humble. So that's why he work hard every day. So he doesn't stop at, just being the best. Well, he's the best, but he don't feel or think that he's the best among everyone. Okay, so humility, everyone loves to take credits, but only if you will accept their own mistakes. So when an employee is identified, you have to pay attention. It calls for immediate recognition for his readiness to change and learn. Only when employees take accountability for making things right, the workplace will see refreshing change. Now, the next one, what's this? Adaptability. Okay. So employees with the ability to adapt, and we also tackled this in the work ethics topic. Adapt and respond to the changing demands of the organization, it will be appreciated. They are the ones who would take up challenges and still perform quite efficiently. I know change is, inevitable. I mean, especially right now, a lot of people doesn't have jobs. I mean, don't have jobs, or have difficult situations because they cannot work online because of the pandemic. But of course, slowly we get back to work, we get back to the office. So that particular change, you have to be adaptable to it. Okay. Next is teamwork. Of course, as what mentioned, no one is an island. So we obviously live in a competitive world where everyone sees other as a threat. So having workers who communicate very well with each other is, is precious. It's a treasure. With this quality in them, they should be recognized by praising them publicly and give tangible rewards. Moreover, it will encourage more and more employees to come together and work as a team. Without a company, without it, a company will not succeed. And of course, one of the workplace behaviors is the problem solving ability. Okay, so if you're someone who how what solution what solution can be brought in the table, you have to share it. You can share it. You don't have to be shy about or embarrassed about it. You want to make sure that you give you share or involve what you have in mind. Okay, so this actually is something that would make the company more productive and more efficient if you can be able to share what you know, or what you know how to solve a particular problem. Now, confidence, this is very important. So a confident employee is more likely to succeed. Conversely, many workers who lack self-confidence are uncertain about their job, causing their performance to suffer. So as an employer or an owner of company, it's our job, or it's their job to make sure that their employees feel good about themselves. So what companies usually do is to recognize, reward employees, to ensure that they keep the same confidence and help others also do the same thing, or maybe radiate the same confidence as they have. Now, last but not the least, of course, you have to be dependable. As what I mentioned before, previously, dependable workers need less supervision, and eventually you can be put in charge, or let's say, for example, a point of contact. Someone or your supervisor can trust you, your manager can trust you. Eventually, you can step up the ladder and be promoted if you show, apart from being dependable, hard work and all. Okay. All right. So given that we've talked about the importance of work behavior, at this point, what do you think would you, at this point, what are the behaviors you have that you can be able to bring in when you're employed or have a business of your own, with those examples? Anyone?
Yes, Justine, our very active participant for today. Would like to commend you. Okay.
I think for what I will bring to the table is actually absolute confidence and and problem solving capabilities. Since if you have the confidence to make the decision and to solve the problem, why not just collaborate with your teammates, listen to them on their opinions, then just go for it, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Very. That's a good thing. Yeah.
Any other participant? It's your time to shine. Okay, another active participant. Hi, Gwen.
Hi, ma'am. So I think what I can bring to the table is my flexibility and adaptability. I adjust very well to different situations, and my thinking is very fast when it comes to switching. So I multitask also very well. So I think that can be a forte for the company I'm gonna be applying to, because then they will have an employee that is quick to their thinking and yeah will can adapt to different situations.
Agree. Very much agree with being, a multitasker and someone who's very flexible, especially nowadays, like I mentioned. So every company would really appreciate if someone would have that particular, ability or a workplace behavior. Thank you. All right, we can move on to the next topic. But before that, let me just ask you, what do you know about confidentiality? Do you have any ideas of what confidentiality means? Any like, not really particularly in the workplace, maybe you can, have examples in school or at home or, with your friends and all. Yeah, you can share.
Okay, let's have the other hand. Esteban.
Hi po, ma'am. Ranela Esteban po. For me, confidentiality is something that two parties need to keep when there is private information or information that is important but that cannot be discussed openly with other parties that is not included.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Who else?
Yes, Carlene.
Yes, for me, I think confidentiality is also keeping secret. This is not only applicable only in the workplace, but this can also be applicable in simple things such as friendship, so that you can between you and that people can share the secret between you two, or if there's a problem, you can limit the information, spread out the information, so that the problem won't get any bigger, and between the circle itself, the problem can be solved.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, we can have one more before
Yes.
we.
Ofiana.
Good morning po, ma'am. I'm J.R. Rafiana. My idea about confidentiality is any information that is important or sensitive that cannot be disclosed to the public po.
All right. Yeah, correct. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, guys. All or your answers are correct. So we can define what confidentiality is. We can move on. All right. So what is confidentiality? All right, confidentiality means the state of keeping secret, as one of you mentioned, or not disclosing information. It comes from confide, meaning to trust someone or tell secrets to them. Confidential information, therefore, is an information that should be kept private or secret. Confidentiality simply is the act of keeping that information private. It is therefore important to understand the nature of confidentiality and how to ensure that you comply with legal or ethical guidelines. So why is confidentiality in the workplace important? So I will ask you this first before we move on. Why do you think it's important?
Do we have other hands aside from our very active participants here? Why is it important? Yes, Andali, yes.
I think po yung confidentiality is important because parang dun po nabibuild yung trust. If someone nag-ask po sa'yo na i-keep yung isang information, then pag na-keep mo din po siya is ibig sabihin po nun magkakaroon po siya ng trust sa'yo.
All right. Thank you. Who else?
Mag-raise na ulit yung mga kanina. Pipiliin ko na lang. Yan, si Kitua.
Good morning, I am Will Andrew Bitua. There are some circumstances na it should be hidden from public, like your strict business ng company nyo. That is why confidentiality is important to build trust.
Yes, agree. Yeah, that's good to hear. Thank you. All right, so we can move on. So why is confidentiality in the workplace very, very important? Okay, confidentiality is the ability to handle sensitive and essential data. The integrity of the company lies in the capacity to preserve this data. Confidential information can be internal workforce, so trade secrets, proprietary information, personal details of the customers, and of course, employee information. So guys, very, very important to, because if you know, I mean, if you heard some companies, their systems, were hacked and some things like that. So that's why confidentiality is very, very important. Every employer, every company, they have to handle or keep every files securely. And of course, you're also part of it. So you are accountable for anything that involves the company. Right? Essential data and secret information can make or break any business, as I mentioned. With confidentiality in the workplace, companies do not let their necessary information fall into the wrong hands that can be misused. If there is a breach of confidentiality, it may lead to severe consequences such as termination of contracts, legal actions, so those matter. Okay, so how to maintain confidentiality at the workplace? So this is workplace or an employer part. Okay, I'll just share these information with you, but then later on I would ask you, what do you think are the things that you can do to maintain confidentiality? Okay, so let's start with the employer's side. Okay, so ensuring that the confidential information is always well protected or kept safely. So let's say, for example, there are files, there are papers, they have to be hidden or placed in a secured area where a lock and key is very essential, or someone has to have that key, so no one would be able to have access to it. So let's say one or two people are the ones who can access that particular information. Okay, now next is sensitive computer files should be password protected. So in our daily lives, of course, if we have our personal laptop or computer and we don't want anyone to have access on it, we put a password. Now for some, especially if you're employed, it's you have to change your password regularly. They require you to do such to avoid being hacked or being accessed by anyone else. Let's say, for example, there will come a time that you might be you might have written a password somewhere else, so it's essential that you change it every now and then. What if someone would see it? So you have to ensure that it's safely kept. Okay, now this is the next one is I mean, most of the companies are doing, it's paperless environment. Of course, we are using laptops, computers already. So paper is the last option, unless of course there are contracts that should be written. I mean, in paper, on paper. Okay. So lastly, of course, do not disclose confidential information. This applies to every employee. Okay. In your contract, let's say for example, you start your job, there's a confidentiality in the contract. They would include the confidentiality agreement. Okay, so if you have friends on other companies, which is a competition, you cannot disclose any information or confidential information to them. So, meaning to say, wag marites. Okay, so you don't share those vital information to them. Okay, so guys, being said that, as I mentioned earlier, what are the things in your end, like as an employee in the future, how you would be able to maintain confidentiality at the workplace. Wag na yung last because I've already given that sample.
Yes, Umengan.
Siguro isa din po, be careful sa mga words na bibitawan mo kasi hindi natin masabi, baka may masabi tayong information and mali. So, ayun po.
Very good, yes. Agree. So let's say for example, you're at the party or having, maybe night out with friends. So you typically get, have some drinks. Sometimes you tend to, share, but then you have to stop yourself and you have to be, mindful of what you share. Okay? Anyone else?
Velasco.
Just like sa sinabi po ni Umengan, less talk, less mistake na lang din po talaga.
Yes, agree. Who else?
Ketua.
May tanong po ako, sa mupit madali lang expose may kaso po ba sa pag-reveal ng or exposing confidential files, mga ganun? I just want to know para next time pag sinabi na secret ko sa kanila, sino crush ko. De, joke lang po. May ganun po ba, ma'am?
Yes, definitely. Because here's the thing, as I mentioned, you sign the contract. If the contract, has a confidentiality agreement or a non-disclosure agreement, then you have to comply to it. If someone got you, sharing some very, like a secret information and someone got you or a manager, let's say, for example, even if it's just a word of mouth, you will be under investigation. It's true story. It happens. Okay. Thank you for that question. I hope it answers your question.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Okay. Who else?
Yes, Placides.
I think, ma'am, when it comes to confidentiality and, for example, private information within the company, the less who knows, the better. So if you're not in any way involved with the information, then it's better not to ask. And if someone is asking for that information, then it's important that um, you keep the trust of the person that said the information to you. It's important to protect this information because this can lead to the failure or success of the company.
Yes, very good. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. Okay, we can have one more. Last one.
Rafael.
Confidentiality can also be shown in regards to conflict resolution na dapat yung conflict ma-resolve within those involved lang para maiwasan yung paglaki pa lalo ng problema. So dapat kung sino lang yung involved, sila lang dapat yung magre-resolve para wala nang ibang madamay.
Agree. Yes. I know it's a term in the Philippines or in Filipino culture. We tend to have gossips around, tell gossips around, put our noses to someone else's someone else's lives. In reality, it happens. But then you have to put in mind that and when you're in a company, when you're working, you want to make sure that whatever it is that's been, told to you, or if you have, let's say, for example, your manager would give you some task and that task is very private, like you're the only one and your manager knows about it because it cannot be disclosed to anyone yet. Let's say, for example, a salary, or let's say a promotion that involves money, right? So you cannot inform that to anyone else, especially to the person involved. It's a no-no. Okay? So those are the things that you have to put in mind. Now, before we end, we're already, in the last slide. I just wanna ask you what your personal mantra, or in line with work or in line with your future, that you can share with others. I mean, with the things that we've talked about, maybe you can share, like particularly with what I shared a while ago, with Steve Jobs, quote. So can anyone share and maybe, um, give some tips, or maybe why do you want that particular quote? Yes. Yeah, I see show of hands.
Yes, Katua.
Actually po, wala akong share kasi wala pa experience. Pero kayo po, ma'am, as a 19 years po na nag-work, paano niyo po nagagawa yung, ano yung araw-araw niyo pong gagawin niyo na hindi nagsasawa? How do you love your work na in 19 years po?
Kasi, okay, thank you for that question. No? For me kasi, I mean, I believe in the saying, you strike while the iron is hot. Okay? So since you guys are very young, so you think about what you want, right? At the beginning, you think, oh, I want this, I want this. You can try everything. Just as long as you apply, good work ethics, good work behavior, then you're all good. Then in the long run, you'll be able to, fill up some other hats. Like for me, as you asked, I'm someone who doesn't stop. I don't want to be idle. Like I want to learn a lot of things. Like even in my wildest imagination, I didn't even plan to own or to part own food business, because that's very tasking. That's something that you have to, be good at every day, right? So every day is learning. So every day you think of things that you want, and maybe you can try. It's like what's this trial and error thing. So you try it. If it doesn't work, then you try again. I mean, you guys are very young. You can do that. Because for me, I'm almost, I'm already of age. So there are a lot of things that I've learned already, and I know which path to go to already. Like when I retire, I want to own this. I want to have this, and it should be done in this particular year. So for you guys, it's different because there's a lot of years to come. You have a lot of learnings to go through. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you po, ma'am. And dahil po doon, yung share ko po dahil sa mga sinabi nyo, every new day is an opportunity for us. Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you.
That's the art of questioning. You question a question. Thank you so much, Katua. Okay, let's have Hilapo.
For my mantra po, it's go big or go home. Since if they say that ambition is a double-edged sword, since ambition could lead to success and ambition could also lead to downfall. However, if one wouldn't really go big and have that ambition to get that big portion of what they want to achieve, then it will only lead to complacency, which would lead to burnout. So I think if you won't really have any motivation to go forward, then it's better just to step down. Kasi if you just be contented on what you have, then there's no room for improvement and you just be complacent to what the world is doing po. Parang ganun po.
Yes, I like that. It's like what Steve Jobs, what I mentioned a while ago, be a yardstick of quality. Okay? If it doesn't work for you, then again, you guys are, you are very young. You can try and try to achieve what you would want to be in the future. Thank you.
Okay, let's have Moises.
Ang sa akin po is yung meron pong quote dito na, don't be afraid to start over again. This time, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. Dito po kasi parang sabi na magkamali ka, okay lang. Since na meron ka namang matututunan doon, tapos yun nga, nagkamali ka na. So, pwede mo na siyang maiwasan at pwede ka nang maging mas mabuti yung magagawa mo since na meron ka na experience doon sa nangyaring yun.
Yes. Yes, I agree. So every day is learning. So you have to, sometimes we tend to, it's okay. It's just, it's just one experience. It won't happen again. But then if you think about it, it can happen again. So if you learn from it, then you have to apply it. Then you have to know what to do next. If you know how to be wise, right? Thank you.
Next up, we have Mr. Arandia.
Hi po. I'm Manuel Amarandi. Yung quotes po yung quote po na napili ko as a risk taker po is not every learning is getting by doing something. Every learnings you can get is by doing is always by risking, because risking is giving you an opportunity to be more successful, or sometimes this risking may lead you to failures or mistakes that can give you more opportunities to learn more and gain more.
Yes, agree with that. You have to be a risk taker. As I mentioned, a lot of competitors are out there. So if you can't, take risk, then how can you succeed? How can you learn? How can you be what you want to be? Like, you cannot be wise or someone who can achieve something if you won't go through a lot of things like hardship, failures. It can be, a success. It can, obviously it will happen. It will make you as a whole. It will make you as a, as a person you want to be. Thank you for sharing.
Next, we have Miss Rivera or Nisa.
My personal mantra po is don't be afraid to give up the good and go for the great. Well, for me, sometimes it's time to set aside comfort and try for something better. Yes, it's good to be happy and comfortable, but it can be better to strive for something good. Kasi most of the time po, I used to motivate myself to achieve more.
Thank you. That's a great insight. I like it because I've learned not to be so you have to try things, as what one of your peers mentioned. You have to be a risk taker. So that's good. Yeah. Thank you. We can have two more.
All right. So next we have sino? Apat na to eh. Sino pa po? Ang gusto sumagot aside sa apat na to, kumbaga best of the best talaga tong apat na to eh.
Iba naman What's your mantra in life? Ang dami nang ni-raise ni Gwen, tatatlong kamay na. Hey, ang dami niyo dito. Wala kayong mantra sa buhay?
Kahit one more na lang.
Ayun, Lagundino.
Yun.
My personal mantra in life is everything happens for a reason. When something happens that does not go with your plan, that does not mean that it is the end of your journey. Use it something as a motivation po to be more driven, and baka may mas better opportunity na ibigay sa'yo si God compare sa what plan you wanted or what path you want po.
Yes, I agree. So it can be an opportunity for you. So it's not an end. I mean, as long as you're living, and nothing is at the end yet. You're not in the end yet. Okay, so that's a good mantra. Thank you. I think that's about it. Okay, we can move on to the last but not the least slide. Okay, I just want to share with you that talent, connections, and money can help you get where you want to go in life. But those things won't go alone. Okay, so you need to work hard, really hard to be successful. All right? So I hope you learn a lot from our session today. But before we end, I'm open to, maybe three questions, 2 to 3 questions, if you have any.
Ayan na, inunahan na kayo ni Santos. Okay, Santos. You may now ask your question.
May question lang po ako, and this comes from my personal experience. Ang question ko is being a perfectionist a good trait in the workplace? Kasi para sa akin, yung mga tasks ko, meron kasi akong pagka-perfectionist na nakikita ko siya as my strength and weakness kasi nag-i-improve yung quality ng mga work or yung mga products ko. Pero kapag masyado akong nagfo-focus dun sa isang particular task na yun, nawawalan ako ng oras for other other activities na kailangan ko ding tapusin within that time frame. So, ang question ko lang is that a good trait to have when it comes to working in the in business?
Actually, I would say it can be a good or a bad trait. Okay, so number one, of course, being a perfectionist is not. Can be good. Like, let's say, for example, as you mentioned, you're able to do your task very like diligently. You're able to do it on a timely manner. You're able to have it done the way you want it to be. So that's you're being a perfectionist. It can be bad as well because let's say, for example, you're not able to meet your expectations or maybe exceed your expectation. It can lead to your frustration, and it can radiate to another negativity, like a negative value. Let's say, for example, you get frustrated the next time you do something. I don't like to do it anymore, or I'll just dwell on the same situation, and it would lead to failure. So yeah, it's a good learning, but at the end of the day, you have to balance it. You really have to balance, like, you being perfect, and at the same time, want to make sure that what works for me is to get ideas from others, because they can have a different perspective than yours and you can apply to it. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, Will Andre. Baka questionin ka naman ngayon ni ma'am sa question mo.
Balik na po. So, ayun ma'am, I have a question. Common po siya sa ibang nagdi-flex na mayayaman. And I keep wondering na kung ano po ba talaga yung tamang sagot. Ngayon, ma'am, may tanong po sa inyo ulit. Ma'am, do you believe money can't buy happiness?
Okay, to tell you honestly, money can buy happiness. Okay, so right now, okay, let's put pandemic on the side. All right, so let's say pandemic, non-pandemic, money is very important, because without money you cannot do this, you cannot do that. Money can buy happiness because without money you can go to places, right? At the same way, and I would be bluntly honest, money cannot also buy you happiness. What if you have a lot of money but you cannot find what you want? Like, you can buy a jet plane, you can use that anywhere you want to be, but then there are times that you would not want to use it and you won't be happy anymore, right? So it can be, and it cannot. So it's basically up to you how you manage it. Because for me, at some point, it did buy me happiness. But at this point, even if you have a lot of money, at the end of the day, your life is, you cannot depend on money alone. Okay? So that's it. I hope that answers your question.
Sige po, ma'am. Wala po.
Okay, may side comment po dito. Kung money can't buy happiness sa iba dyan, ibigay nyo na lang sa akin ang inyong money. Okay, do we have one more? Last one question? Wala na? Masaya na kayo. I think wala na po, ma'am. Question?
Thank you, guys. This has been a great experience. As I mentioned, it's my first time, but it's a great experience because everyone is interactive. I really appreciate you, speaking out. Hopefully we can, probably meet soon. If not, in the early, the coming future, maybe soon. Maybe we can bump into each other. All right. So later on, we'll have the interview portion, and I'm hoping that everyone can be able to go through it, and I'm really glad to meet every one of you. All right, so thank you for the opportunity again. St. Francis Institute Learning and Business High School. I'm really honored to be part of your Metamorphosis webinar today. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Maria Concepcion Angat Malamug. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for taking time from your busy schedule to be our speaker for today. Before we have our lunch break, may I call on Mr. Jerome Boragay to give us the interview guidelines.
Alright, good morning again. Alam ko gutom na po ang lahat. But before we proceed to the interview guidelines after lunch break, for some guidelines lang po ito regarding doon sa papasukan po natin yung meeting IDs. Na-PM ko na po ito sa mga bata. Nakapag-provide na po ako ng meeting IDs. And then the teacher in charge, nakasama po ng mga mag-i-interview. So Ma'am Panday will go with Ma'am Connie, with Ma'am Maricon, and then Sir Viroy and yours truly will go with Ma'am Villaluna. Okay po. To monitor the attendance. And another for the grade 11 students, hindi na po kayo papasok right after the lunch, right after nito pa. Okay, pwede na po kayong magpahinga. And then activity pong gagawin po kayo. Okay, sa mga subjects po na may ano pa po, may mga kulang-kulang pa, you may settle it na po. Okay, and then we will provide you an activity for this afternoon. That's all, Ma'am Panday. Thank you.
Okay, before we leave, I want you to eyes on the camera. Ayan, ilang page ba tayo ngayon? 3. O, 3 beses kayong maging statwa dyan. Sino po mag-screen capture? Okay, si Ma'am Kim na lang daw pa. Okay, you ready, Ma'am Kim? In 3, 2, 1. Smile first page. Okay, next slide. Medyo mahina daw yung kalaban. Saglit lang daw. Okay. Ayan, yung iba dyan mga naka-off cam. Baka naman. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Second page. In 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, and then let's have the very last page. Oh, wait lang daw po ulit. Oh, yan na. In 3, 2, 1, smile. Ayan. So, thank you so much to our grade 11 and grade 12 students. Ayan. You may now leave the Zoom meeting. Okay, yung grade 12 ha, you already know what to do. Mamaya pong 12:30. Bye everyone. Have a great lunch.